Hey again, everybody. Um, so today I kind of want to talk on a thought that I have often. Um, well, I guess not that often, but a thought that I have when I'm in a particular point of, I guess, doubt or internal turmoil, and kind of when I am second guessing, what I'm capable of or uh, kind of who I am. Um, so I guess I guess it's pretty often, but just an idea of that no matter what we do, we are always going to be ourselves, and we're always going to be like the same person. Like we can't take anybody else's story. Our story is always going to be ours, and um, some people's stories are difficult to accept, and it's hard to it's hard to accept the past sometimes, and um, it's hard to kind of appreciate though that those things are what make us us, and without those things we wouldn't be who we are now. And if you don't like who you are now, then you have that choice of who you're going to be next. And so this is kind of an idea to go hand in hand with the new year. um and I might have a video out New Year's Day. Will kind of be dedicated to New Year's stuff, but this kind of touches on it a little bit because um, everything that we go through, we have a point of reflection after it, and whatever we gained from it is now permanently a part of us, no matter what it is. Because some memories take longer to fade than others, and those memories are going to be what kind of shape us. Um, and we will pull whatever piece that we can from that experience, and it's going to become a permanent part of us. And this is a scary thought in a lot of cases, because there are, of course, a lot of experiences that we don't really want to bring with us, or carry with us, and a lot of people that we have memories of that we don't want to carry with us, that we would much rather just forget. And um, this varies case by case of the difficulty of that it is to kind of accept that and decide which piece that we're going to take with us. But um, looking back on everything, like, just if you look back on your entire life, and as I have these moments of reflection, and as I journal and things, um, especially journaling, I would highly encourage you, if you aren't planning on journaling, or if you haven't, just please do it, because it has changed my life. And I was reading. So I have three journals. Uh, I have one from like 2019 to 2021, that I didn't write in super often. I have one that was pretty much all of last year, so all of 2022, and then I have one that I recently started in October. Uh, and so yeah, and then the one before that was like 2022, and then most of 2023. And um, it's really interesting to go back and read. Like, it is fascinating. I will go back and I'll read things and I'll be like, I really used to think this way. Like, and I'm almost shocked. Like, I'm almost like, this is a completely different person. Um, and the way I used to think was just so, like, the I can see my story, and I can see kind of the development, and oh, okay, like, I started to think differently around this time. I was really caught up in this, and so being able to like almost see it as if it's on a chart is really fascinating. But it's also very humbling and very it's a very human thing to see it, um, and that despite everything, I'm still me. Despite all of those negative things that I wrote down, despite all of the sleepless nights, all of the hardships that I've gone through in the past 3 or 4 years, I get especially negative around 2020, right when the pandemic is, and reading through that and seeing how my mind has shifted, and then recent events and how I've grew from that and what I've pulled, and who I am now, the habits I have now. But the one thing that's consistent through all of it is me, and it is inspiring to see it, and and not that I'm kind of trying to boost my ego, but just it's important to have this entire reflection of the past year, at the end of it. This tomorrow is the last day of 2023, which is insane. I mean, this has been a big year, for me, for a lot of people, uh, and it's just absolutely baffling to be able to go back and read and kind of see a old version of me. Um, but that's still me, and I'm gonna carry that kind of version of me with me. Um, and I've turned into somebody new. Well, not somebody new, but I've turned into a newer version of the same person. And and so this kind of goes into also running from your past, and kind of trying to suppress an old version of you. And I think that that is good in some cases of kind of like, I want to not have the same habits that I used to have. I want to gain these new ones. I want to do different things. And so you're kind of killing this older version of you, um which is kind of a good thing to look at, and recognize that you were doing things wrong, and now you're going to try to do things right. But don't be so hard on the old you. uh Still look at you as you, that you can instead, like, instead of thinking like, if I ever met the old me, I'd be so mad. I would you know whatever. I see a ton of TikToks, ton of Instagram things like that. Like, if I ever met the old me, kind of thought process. But I think a better way to look at it is like, what advice would I give the old me, knowing what I know now? Would I have wanted things to go differently? Because I am who I am now because of those things. So if I had the opportunity to go back and talk to a younger version of me, would I tell them to do anything differently? Because if you're comfortable where you are now, why would you want it to be any different? And if you're not comfortable with where you are now, then instead of regretting what you did before, what are you going to do now? What are you going to do next? And who is somebody that you can ask advice from, or if you can envision a future version of you that you want to be, what sort of advice would they give you? And so, um, yeah, so kind of just being nice to these older versions of you, because they're not your weaknesses. They are, um, they might have been you in a moment of weakness, or you might have done weak things. That doesn't make you yourself weak, because that same you that lived in them is the same you that lives in you now. And so, looking at everything just as an overall learning experience. Um, and this is just especially a great way to think, I think, with the new year. And something I've been thinking about and kind of reflecting on. Um, and yeah, and so, uh, yeah, I hope you all kind of think about that, and think about that tomorrow. And if you're celebrating, have have that fun, because that's good. I'm not sure what my plans are going to be, but take some time with yourself to just sit and write things down, write down some goals. It doesn't have to be gym, it doesn't have to be meditation, it doesn't have to be like, start with something small. Start with, like, I'm going to walk more. I'm going to read more. Something small that you can do for just a few minutes every day, or something like that. So yeah, or replace bad habits with good ones. Try to do that. that's just kind of my general advice with that stuff. But as for me though, recently things have been pretty good. I am nearing when I will go back to college, going back to my apartment. So I fly out next Wednesday, and I've been talking to somebody recently, and they're pretty cool. And they've actually given me a couple poems that they've been comfortable enough to share with me. So I might be talking about those in a future video. But yeah, so it's been good, and I hope you all are doing well. And just keep in mind that you're still you, despite it all. You're still you, and be proud of that. So yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.